Okay, it's 5:02. I'd like to bring this finance meeting to order on October 14th, 2025. First, I'd like to get an approval of the minutes from September 9th.
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. Do we have anything for our tax collection software update for all business?
No new update. We did talk at the last meeting about getting some committee members on a Zoom with the tax board in person. I'm not really sure if we figured all that out, but to get all of us together. I dropped the ball on that, so it did not happen since our last meeting, but we can certainly talk afterwards. Maybe we can figure out a time
Okay,
to meet with them.
okay, all right.
Yeah, they said they wanted to.
I know, yeah, I know, and, yeah, they're waiting. They're waiting.
They're, yeah.
Getting
waiting.
impatiently waiting, yeah.
Impatiently waiting, yes.
Okay,
So yeah, so we'll try to get that meeting scheduled before the next finance meeting.
okay, that works. All right, we're gonna move on to Bill's financial report review, committee review of bills and financial.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we did not get all of the financial reports completed for this meeting. We just, with the audit that happened and with some of the monthly tax reports coming in, we didn't get them in time to be able to finish. So
Okay.
my goal, my plan,
Well, we made it early again this time, the meeting.
was it early?
Mhm.
So,
And you said you'll have that at the workshop.
yeah, so what we can do is we can continue with what we've done in the past, which is Megan and I can send it to you through email. We're not discussing anything in the email, but it gives you a chance to look at it ahead of time. If you want to ask questions, you can, or you can save all your questions for the board meeting, but it gives you a little bit more time to review the reports.
I think that's fine. Does anybody have a problem with that? Okay,
Thanks.
that works. All right, we'll move on to 2025-26 administrative expenditure reduction.
Yeah, so this will be sort of that holding place that we'll keep on here all year for just any savings that we find throughout the year. We did report out a few of them at last meeting, and I don't believe we have anything new for this meeting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Okay, do you want to move that to old business
We can, sure.
and just leave it there?
Yeah,
For now?
yeah, definitely.
All right, move on, unless anyone has any questions. We'll move on to new business.
Oh, sorry, I should have mentioned, we do have Director Pennypacker on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Pepe.
Oh, yeah, I see her up there. No, that's you, I see your name.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry.
That's
It's been a really
you guys
long
let
day. Been a really long day.
So-
Okay,
Okay.
so we can move on to Western Center payment schedule discussion.
Yeah, so I can start it, and maybe Dr. Roche, if you've heard other tidbits you can jump into, but the Western Center sent out an email. Donna, who's a business manager, sent it out to all the business managers of the sending schools and said, hey, there's no state budget, which, by the way, we're at day 106, Bucks
Yeah.
County. Says there's no state budget, we're not getting money from the state. Can we change the fee schedule? So they typically bill us monthly, and they requested that they bill it quarterly and we pay it upfront for every 3 months. So there was just some questions going back and forth just among the business managers, and I said, you know, we can't really, I didn't feel comfortable, and Dr. Roche didn't feel comfortable either, just making that call, so.
So that's like
I said-
almost $600,000 a quarter, right?
So that is,
More than that?
I think it's, I can look, it's
Sorry.
probably closer, maybe 750, 800. Is it
Okay.
250 or 300?
Not for
Yeah,
us,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking,
For our,
I'm thinking for all three schools, the numbers I saw.
Oh, right.
It was
Oh,
almost
oh, okay, I was just
over
thinking
a
us.
million.
okay,
Yes, I mean, the superintendents had the same conversation in terms of, you know, when working with Mr. Bishop, to know how far we could go without having to go out for a loan, those type of things
Right.
with the delay coming in state money, as well as federal, state obviously being the bigger of the two. You know, he had said about here is where, but now when you're asking to pay 3 months worth of bill as opposed to monthly, not knowing exactly, that's a big chunk. And I think they actually would like to move quarterly moving forward, not just with the state piece. So.
Yes.
because they don't get state funding, correct?
They get some
But not like we do.
funding, no, but I don't believe that they have the authority or ability to because they're not a taxing agent, to go out for the same loans that we have an opportunity for, which would cost some money, but not as much as like a private loan, that type of thing, to pay the bills. So of course, we don't want to see them not be able to pay their bills. It was just a big ask that it was all of a sudden just happening, and they're like, can you pay us, you couldn't pay 3 months of rent right away. I mean, it's almost like that same thing. I mean,
Right.
so we're trying to balance out that conversation. And they talked with it at either in,
They discussed it in the meeting last week, yes, where they would like to, because of, as you said, we're in day 106 of this, and their funding is stagnant, basically they depend on us for funding. They don't have any revenue generating income down there other than us.
Well, can
they
we just,
have the salon, that brings some.
You actually are correct.
They have a
They also
bakery
have
or
the
something.
auto, you can also get autos done down there, you simply pay for parts. You just have
Next
to
week,
sit with
we just
things.
all take our cars for service.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah,
very
that
nice.
So I think it was a difficult conversation, we understood the
Yes.
question and the request, and are we, where's,
but I have a dumb what might be a dumb question, or might not be a dumb question. So if they don't really get a lot of state monies because they're not a taxing agency, and we're the only ones paying them anyway,
yeah.
then why do they need money ahead?
They get some,
They still have to do your monthly expenditures for everything, payroll, things like
I
that.
know,
Utilities.
but if they're only getting funded by the sending districts.
Right, so
Right.
what are they
Where's
getting from
that?
the state? What percentage? Is it 1%, 4%,
Yeah, like maybe we could-
28%? Do we know?
Maybe we could make a suggestion that we do a little bit more to cover what they aren't getting, but doesn't like drain us for 3 months.
And maybe along those lines, Drew, just some quick math in your head, like how much interest potentially are we missing out on by paying them? You probably already did that in your head.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I did. I didn't write it down, though.
Good
Last time Drew did math in his head, we took it,
Now we're
it blew
scared.
up.
Now we're scared.
Nothing against Drew, it was more
Yeah.
the information that got used
Yeah, yeah.
in a different angle.
Yeah, never, we're not
Not
doing.
against Drew, it was more of like a projection that all of a sudden was fact.
Right,
And
yeah, no, I'm just thinking about it, and like, well, if they don't,
Yeah, so we pay about, it's almost exactly $230,000 a month. So if I do some quick math, I'm ignoring that first payment because we would be paying the first month anyway at that time. So now you're talking about 2 months worth. And it's about 50, if we're at 4, are we still at about 4% interest on that high? So about 4%, it's about $1,500.
It's up 4.3 mil.
a month, that we're gonna lose out.
Yeah, so 4% is $18,400 for the year, divided by 12, it's $1,500 a month.
Okay.
I don't love it.
Keith, where did they finish up with the conversation? I don't, it kind of fell flat with,
Yeah, it kind of fell flat, they said that they were floating this to the superintendents
Yeah.
and districts because they basically have no money to operate with. Anyhow, they're holding off on any purchases that they have to, delaying them as much as possible so that they don't have to spend any money that they may have. They don't have a capital fund like we do here or anything like that, so
Yeah, that would all
I
help
have
from
to check
us
to
too.
see what
We
the
could, yeah,
balances
use
are
capital.
down there. Pardon, sir?
we couldn't use capital anyway.
Right, I know, but they don't have
Yeah, they don't have
they
capital.
don't have money in the bank like we do.
They went and got donations, steel.
Well, I'm not
And-
trying to, I'm
Yeah,
not
for
trying
some of
to
those
jip
things.
them out of
Yeah,
anything,
they
I'm just
did
trying to
mention that
figure
they'd like
where's
to start
the,
doing this going forward, so they
Yeah.
have that cushion in them in case of.
they have to do it in the year when there's no budget yet.
Well, that's what's triggering the conversation.
Yeah.
I know, I'm saying,
Okay, do you
that's
want
not
the
the
chicken or do you want the
smartest.
egg first?
Exactly, I get
Yeah.
it, I get it, I'm just trying
Yeah.
to,
So, they're in the same mind, we are.
okay.
At the same point, I'm sure you just recently heard in the last 2 days, I think we talked about it previously, that in Bethlehem, they were talking about withholding charter school money. East Penn's having that same conversation at the board table at the WFMZ News or wherever, and their solicitor was giving them some caution, like you could be playing with some fire there, because they're gonna get their money regardless, whether they
Right.
get it from
How
us
did you get
and
it
or
back?
from the subsidy. Sometimes in the past, when there's been a dispute long before this, any of the current budget challenges, but when there's been a dispute in the past between a cyber charter or charter and a school district, they go right to the state, and the state decides, and you just don't get that in your subsidy the next time it comes through.
Nice.
So it's the same conversation we're having with the Western. is if there are districts now beginning to say, well, we're not going to pay our charter, and I believe it's probably putting pressure on the situation to get it passed, so to speak.
Sure.
I don't know how, I mean, we have to get a solicitor approval, but you're starting to see these conversations taking place, as well as hiring freezes, reduction on travel, reduction on expenses, borrowing,
Yeah, it's
all those
always,
things are
yeah,
happening.
what programs
And,
we cut.
we're in the same boat in terms of those conversations to
Such crap.
not spending it through it, so. Anyway,
Yeah.
that was the major ask, I didn't really come up with a,
Well, it seems to me in this point in time, like, that's like when you're going to a recession and they put gas prices up twice as high. Like, nobody can afford that, that's the point.
Do they need a vote now, today?
I mean, it's been kind of silent since she emailed back on September
Yeah,
30th.
I haven't heard about it in the past 2 weeks. I know they talked about it at your
We
meeting.
talked about our meeting, that was it. No, they didn't ask, but they didn't put a timeline on it or anything, but they're just bringing it to awareness for consideration. I guess
Consider-
they're testing the waters, to see what thoughts are.
Yeah.
I think they're also
I don't know.
understanding that it's a tough ask in the
Yeah,
current climate. I mean, we're committed to those dollars
Sure.
over the course of the months.
but on our time.
And they'll get
not-
that, right.
Not
you know.
theirs, yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know
I
if all of a
love
sudden we
things
plucked
like
out
this.
another $600,000 out of that, and then a bill came in that we needed to pay, would we then be, oh, well, we're really short on
No.
payroll or
Mhm.
paying our bills, those type of things?
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, I certainly have no problem. I mean, we typically wait for the invoice to come from the Western Center, which is, I don't know. Would have to look and see when that normally is, but I mean, maybe we can put a little calendar reminder on October 25th and just say, let's pay the bill now. Maybe it's a couple weeks early, it wouldn't hurt us as much. I don't even know how much it would help them, but
See if they'll offer us a discount. Paying her.
Doubt it.
There you go.
Doubt it.
Just like for a
$1,500 a month discount.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's recorded, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, can you follow back up with Donna and find out, or maybe with your colleagues to see where,
yeah.
if anyone has really had any other.
I'd be curious as to what the other two districts report costs
Yeah.
over.
Are thinking, yeah.
I have a feeling they're going to be along the same lines as us.
And let me say this in the nicest way, but like, why is it on us? You know what I mean? Are there any other ways they can, like, handle it, I don't know how else to say that.
I just
Why
think
is it on?
timing's bad. I just think timing's not so good. Like, we're obviously gonna wait, we only have money until a certain point if something's not passed, if the budget's not passed. So, not happy about that.
But in the conversations that I've had about potential loans, those type of things, what do they say, you're about a month, you need a month turnaround.
Yeah.
to
Right.
Initiate that process to get through those steps to, it's not like you can call and
And say,
get a
hey,
lifeline.
we need $1 million,
Right.
come on.
But I think you can get approved and then not use it.
I'll defer to Drew in terms of that.
Yeah,
But still, if you get
Yeah.
approved for a loan, you don't use it, you're still paying interest on whatever time that you've had that money. Or whatever.
yeah, unless you just
or
can just
whatever the
approve on
number is
paper
that you're doing.
and have it in standby. I don't know.
I feel
I
like
don't
at
know.
the MCIU, they were kind of saying they were approved for the RAN, and then they were like, oh, if we don't use it, it's.
So it might be like a pot of money that they can draw down when they.
Right, like a
need it.
HELOC kind of.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just
so,
that, thank you.
yeah. I don't know.
Line of credit.
Yeah, basically.
Well, I can certainly follow up and we'll see if there's any.
Okay. Maybe you can put in a board update if there's something.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
okay. All right. On to the 2026-27 actual and adjusted index and final budget discussion.
Yes, so, I have this, is it this one? So this is just a timeline for the budget that we're going to start working on here. So obviously, the first thing in September is the Act 1 index. We talked about that last meeting, but we didn't have the adjusted. So the adjusted came out, and it's 4.2%,
Okay.
up from the 3.5, which is the base index. So the 4.2 is the max that Upper Perk can raise taxes without seeking an exception from PE, which there aren't many left of those, or going to vote a referendum to go above that 4.2.
I mean, personally, we've never gone over the Act 1 index or asked for exceptions, and I'm fine with doing the same this year.
Well, that's next. In October finance, we need a decision on whether to exceed the Act 1 index or not. So,
I figured,
if you're comfortable right now saying we're not going to do that, then that's great. We can have the resolution on the board agenda upcoming, have the board vote on it, and you're locking yourself into a max of 4.2.
I'm comfortable with that.
yep, me too. Yeah.
So if you weren't comfortable, then by, I think it's somewhere in January, I really didn't think you wanted to go above that, but if you did, I'd have to look at the timeline. But we would have to present the full budget, you would have to vote on that, and then you could go through the process of seeking exceptions or getting that ready for a voter referendum.
Gotcha.
But that's a timeline that we don't really want to be involved with.
Keith, what's your thoughts? You
I
go
was
with that?
shaking my head, no, I don't want to
Oh.
go above it, but, I was going to follow up with, we should know the timeline just in case, something catastrophic happened between.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be able to do it unless we voted on it
Oh, the
now.
exceptions are still tied to special ed,
Yes.
Yeah.
PSERS.
Special ed, PSERS, which is almost phased out, just the way that they sort of tweak it. There's a construction one, which we wouldn't qualify for. I think they've gotten rid of the other ones that. Construction, you have to, yeah.
Jump through every hoop that ever happened.
Well, you also would have had to have incurred the debt. Well, there's two different kinds of construction, so, yeah, we're not going to
We
qualify
don't have
for
any
either
of
one.
that
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
That we
so I can
qualify.
follow up with the timeline and what.
So would that be on the November meeting?
November.
But yeah,
November board meeting. for
November
that.
board meeting.
Yep, it says November, school board
Mhm.
vote not to exceed Act 1 index.
Yeah.
I mean, finance director.
But yeah, the timeline is based on the primary date, because you would have to have, so it always works backwards. The primary date, you'd have to have the vote there for the voters to exceed the Act 1
Oh, right.
index. So you have to go back 90 days, which is when you would have to have that final budget approved, which shows an increase above the Act 1 index. So I'd have to find out when that primary vote or primary day
May,
is,
something May.
work
Yeah.
backwards, and then we could see. But usually it's in January,
Okay.
or maybe it's in February, but yeah. I can certainly get that.
Yeah, it would be nice to see that.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know what it is because we never did it, so. All right, so we're good to go, third on November then, for not to exceed the Act 1 index. Okay. All right.
And then just real quick, these are just the presentations that's going to be presented to the Finance Committee. So in November, we have them all listed here. The only change from last year to this year is I'm bumping transportation up into November. If you remember, I do, that we had some long meetings in January, February, March. So I'm hoping maybe just
Leave
tweak a
it.
couple of these and maybe we won't be here burning the midnight oil.
Okay.
And then December, we have no meeting. January, we'll talk about those topics. There's February. And then March, we have the salaries, benefits, revenue, and overall. April, this committee will recommend a tax increase, if any, to the full board. The agenda in May, we'll have the vote on the proposed final. And then later that month, Finance will talk about a final decision for a tax increase for 26-27. June, the committee will meet again, and then the school board will vote on the final budget.
Okay.
Share with the committee that the new, I don't want to say restrictions, but timelines that Mr. Bishop has put in place, as some of our administrators panicked, but rightfully so, in terms of where the spending stops and get a better handle on the end of the year, and encumbering things that know you have to get purchased. It's just a change for people, so.
I probably should have added that here. So yeah, in April, we're going to have a complete cutoff of purchase orders. So if you expect you're going to need to spend something in May or June for those end of year, whatever, graduation caps and gowns, whatever it might be, you got to do a purchase order in April. Not a purchase order in June to say, oh, let me just buy this. So we're gonna sort of put a hard cap on PO dates.
I feel like that's typical.
It is.
It is, yeah.
It just
Okay.
hasn't been,
It's newish.
to a degree, yeah. I mean, I think there's also
It's-
some curriculum purchases that are used to running the gamut of all the steps there, so that's one of the departments that's rightfully so, just double checking that we're hitting the timelines or things are being encumbered. So to just share that as it's
That's great.
a little bit of discomfort, that's the right.
It'll be fine. Once they move their own timelines back a little bit, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll help me see all the POs that are in there and say, okay, it looks like if all those purchase orders are spent, then we should finish the
This is where we
year
are.
right here.
Right.
So it'll help.
Just be careful sharing that number.
Yeah, right.
I'm only sharing it with
It's all good.
Primary date is May 19th.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's good.
primary date will be May 19th, 2026, so you'd have to have it cut off by 2/17.
Right, so that would be the board vote, would be before February 17th
On the final budget.
on a final budget that exceeds the Act 1 index.
Right.
No pressure.
Yeah, right. Yikes. Okay.
But again, if we do the resolution to exceed that, we're done with that timeline.
Well, they're using the timeline that's here.
Yep, then we roll with the
With
proposed
the normal
final.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any other questions about that? Okay.
Buckle up.
I'm buckled.
Step,
I'm
you
already
ready?
buckled.
Okay.
Yep. All right, moving on to the old STEB update for 26, 27. Drew shared that with me
Okay.
for the last meeting. I already had my heart attack. Thank you. Yep. Go ahead, Drew. You're on. I was
So,
already in school code today, so just saying.
so because we're a multi-county school district, according to Act 1, we are required to sort of normalize all of our assessed values, because Berks County is different than Montgomery County. So to do that, we are required to use STEP. There are multiple options as to how to calculate, how to normalize those assessed values in Act 1. The option that we have chosen, I think is like A23, but there's A21, A22, so there's other options. But we have to take a look at the STEP value, which is, STEP is the State Tax Equalization Board. They take a look at the sales of all the properties, and they basically come up with a total value of all the properties in your district, or in your municipality.
Since the last, what's it called?
The reassessment,
Thank you.
yeah.
Which
Correct.
was a long time ago and will be a million years until
Yeah.
we do it again. Yeah, just to throw that in there.
So every year they come out with values that are updated in June. So the June 2023, so this box here in blue, was used for the 24-20,
2 years. 2 years later.
23 was for the 25-26 year, the year that we're in.
Sorry.
These are the market values
Oh my goodness,
and the assessed values that they have listed. The new ones that just came out in June, so they're 2024, but they come out in June of 2025 to be used for 26-27.
Huntington Green Lane's double.
So these are the new market values and what they have listed as assessed values. So none of that really means a whole lot to any of us. But this will show, so this is the increase by municipality. And here is the increase or negative if it's decrease.
Okay, quick question.
Yeah.
Market value, East Greenville, bottom in the
Yep.
total. Is that total properties?
No, that's
value?
dollar value. So they're calculating a dollar value of
19
the
million.
entire borough.
So that'd be residences within
Yeah.
the borough?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking?
Yes,
That's-
yep.
That's the total value of the properties within the borough,
Correct.
the municipalities'
Correct.
limits.
Yeah.
Yep,
And the assessed value is divided by that number?
So yeah, to get, well, the assessed value is, the Board of Assessment Office has the assessed value of every property. And they would match if a reassessment was done, because then the assessed value would match the market value. But
it'll get changed.
yeah, reassessments don't ever happen.
County can't afford to do it.
It just seems strange.
Yeah.
As we all know from years of listening to this, but
Yeah. So then over here in the gray, so this is the change.
Hang on.
So this is, yeah,
The market value unfortunately, it's based on the number of properties sold
Correct,
over
yeah.
a given period of time. So if you have a slow year in real estate
Mhm.
and only, say, row homes are sold, it brings the market value down and doesn't give you a good
Yeah,
indication.
yeah, they definitely look at the sales, for sure. So you can see the change here. So for this one, East Greenville Borough, the market value increased 11.61%, and the assessed values only increased 0.15%. So in our calculation for everybody's tax bill, we have to come up with, and I can actually, so this is the total here, this is for every municipality. Green Lane is kind of the outlier where it only increased 2.8% for market value.
Always the outlier.
Everybody else is 7.8 or higher. You even have Pennsburg going up 14%. So where that comes into play, this is directly from the STEB. I just got rid of all the other school districts and just kept us. We need to look at this ratio. This highlighted here, 58.66. That factors into the calculation of everybody's tax bill. So we have to take the assessed value, we divide it by this ratio, we times it by 75%, it's in the law, I don't know why they came up with that, but times by 75%, times by our millage. So this was for the 25-26 year. We have to pick the lowest ratio, and that right here was Hereford at 58.66.
And that's like the first time.
Yeah.
It's always Green Lane. Oh,
So this was for the year that we're in right now, 58.66. This was the one that we need to use for next year. It dropped to 53.53. So that 6% change is a huge factor in the calculation of the tax bills. So now, when I run through the tax calculation, if there's a 0 mil increase, it's almost 10.5% tax increase for the taxpayers. And that's
0 equals 10 and a half.
0 equals 10.5. Yeah. So obviously that's a problem. I currently have this with PDE, asking them to check. They just haven't gotten back to me yet. I did talk to Sandy Castle and just said, I gave her the theory. If STEP goes up 10, 11%, your assessed values increase 0.5%. Does it sound right that you would have that kind of increase? And she said, yeah, in theory, that sounds correct.
How about Tim at Pasbo? Same.
So I've tried contacting him, haven't heard back. I was at a conference last week, talked to Hannah Barrick, who's the executive director of PASBO, told her I hadn't heard back. So she said she was going to talk to Tim and have him contact me. So I have it out there. I'm saying if I'm doing something wrong, please let me
You're
know.
I don't think you are.
Because this is an interesting situation. I went back through the records that I could find. I think it's going back to like 10, 11, 11, 12,
That's when it
something like that. And there's never been this dramatic of an increase in STEB or this dramatic of an increase with a 0 mil tax increase.
I have a chart from when the first time I ran for school board, has on my own tax every year for all those years.
Can we do a negative? I don't know, maybe that's a really dumb
Well,
question.
it's not a dumb question at
No,
all.
that's not a dumb question.
I think the two options, I guess you could say there's 3 options. One, do nothing, but I don't really feel like that's going to be much of an option.
Only if we want to die.
Yeah. The second option would be to lower the millage. I think the third option would be to look at the other options that we have as a multi-county district
Third option is find something else.
to change the way that we calculate it, yeah. So
Oh,
Yeah, you started talking too quickly.
sorry.
yeah, it would be to change sort of the method that we use. You know how I said we now have the A23, I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Option. We can look at the A21, the A22. I feel like there's other options out there
There's-
too.
But in lowering the millage,
A,
are you sacrificing 1 year for the future?
Well,
Right.
that's where it's,
Like short-term,
Yeah,
long-term,
but
trying
if
to,
it's 10%,
I'm saying, but if you lower it now and the numbers, because that's a blip on the thing and then they flip back the other way, are you ever getting that money back or any of that?
I mean, you have to have a handle on how the real estate market is gone for the year after this.
Again, I'm just asking a
Yeah, I'm
question.
just saying,
Yeah.
for this year, basically.
Can't
Because
you
they
just
do
tell
it
us,
2 years.
Melanie?
Yeah, right,
Just see it, just,
I kind of do see it, and that's why I kind of figured that was going to happen eventually,
huh.
because it was really depressed before. And it takes because those numbers they always use are 2
2
years
years
back.
later, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what throws you off. It threw me off before. Doesn't throw me off now. It threw me off.
So right now, we're waiting to hear back from PD and or PASBO with verifying what the numbers
Yeah.
that you have.
Correct.
And then are we beginning to look at those other options as,
I mean, I can, so I think,
Yeah.
I mean, Sandy has been great, I think she did send, I have so many emails, which is great from her, it's sitting in my inbox with, I know she had worked with, his name is Ben at PD, who's one of the guys that I've
I've talked to him.
Ben, yeah.
I know him.
So I think the two of them had presented or something multi-county, and she did send me a spreadsheet that has, I think it's every option,
Mhm.
where I just need to plug the numbers
Worked
in.
out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I certainly can go through and look at those other options. I think that would be probably a worthwhile exercise.
yeah,
Yeah, it would, because I remember, and it's been a long time, and it's been hand-trapped, and I have talked to him. And he, when I talked to him, I was trying to figure out, I was correct that, yeah, A2, 3, or whatever that we just said, of the school code, that's what we picked. And the question I gave him was, because I wasn't on the board yet, so I didn't really know, the question I said was, could we change that? And am I correct that the way we use it gathers us, the district, the most taxes? And he agreed with me that it does. So that leads me to believe, I haven't done it in a long time, but I'm pretty sure I've worked this out before, about what the other ones would be. 'cause I'm
well, it sounds
weird
like a
that.
0 equals 10% sounds like the most way you're gonna get taxes, if that was the goal.
Exactly,
Yeah.
That's the goal.
exactly, yeah, exactly. But even the 10%, like that doesn't have anything to do with the method. The 10% is because of the real estate, but but the other methods pull of how you equalize the two counties. That's what
Yep.
changes it.
Gotcha.
So I think in order to do that, when I talked to Sandy before, she said you need to basically do that for this year and for next year. So you have to do 2 years worth for each option that you have, just because PD needs to see what your millage is here versus what it is here, so that they know you're not increasing taxes above your adjusted F1 index.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's,
Which just to say out loud for everyone in the room, because that's confusing. So we're talking about 10%, and we're also just said we're not going to raise them more than 4.2%. But if we did no percent, it's still going to be 10%. So technically, we could raise them 14.2%.
Is this the
I'm just
math
saying
with
that out loud.
imaginary numbers and
Yes.
stuff?
Yes. Yep, I just wanted to say that out loud, because it's confusing
No, I
unless
get it.
you've literally studied it.
Creating
For a
a
while.
dilemma.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we won't have.
and there's no
I won't
guarantee
support that.
that doing it the other method is gonna, I mean, it's gonna change somewhat, but not. I
It's not
can't
gonna make a
guarantee
big
that-
difference.
Right, it may not go from 10 to 0.
No, it's not
I
going to
just,
do that.
I don't know without,
I don't think
going
so.
We have to go through the process,
Yeah, yeah,
and explore those other options.
yeah,
No doubt.
yep. For sure.
Now, in order, if we want to do something like this and switch methodologies, calculations, what do we have to do, and is there a timeline for that? Obviously, before we finish our final budget,
Yeah.
but, legally and registering it with the county or the state or whoever.
Yeah,
Is there a definitive timeline for that? We'll have to investigate that.
yep, agreed. If PD calls me, I will ask him that question. I may have to email them again.
And in case anybody wants to read it, it's section 672.1 of the school code of 1949. In case you want, because I looked it back up. I know, everybody needs to know that. It was a very important time.
Okay.
All right. Okay, sorry. Got stuff taxed.
Good.
My head.
Don't mind if I do look at it.
Yeah, figured you probably would. Unaudited financial review of 24-25.
Yeah, so this is here on the agenda.
Oh, yeah.
So, as you said, this is unaudited, so this is before the audit adjustments or anything that they change. I think I presented this last year as well, in looking at this, but, so what I'm looking at there, that blue column was the budget, and then the sort of yellowish column was the actuals, and then the difference. So as you can see, their expenditures were 1% above budget, and revenues were 2.5% above budget. So in the budget, we did have a $2.6 million deficit, and that deficit ended up being about 1.5 million. I will tell you that when I looked at this last year, the expenditures were over by 3.3, and the revenues were over by 4.2. So if anything, that just tells me we're getting closer.
Good.
And as Dr. Roche said, I did throw out there at one of our meetings, I thought we were going to basically break even for 24-25. I think I know what $1 million of that is, the difference.
Okay.
I think, and Megan can back me up here, I think for the first time, we got our accounts payable number correct for the 24-25 audit, which happened to be $1 million more than it was in the prior year.
Okay.
The reason for that is our software, we kind of just figured out how to make that work. So it had been wrong for years and years, I believe. It's not, well,
It's not
it was
as-
tricky to figure out. It wasn't intuitive,
Oh,
if I can just say it that way.
okay.
But I honestly believe that that's what $1 million of that was.
Okay.
Because it did go up exactly $1 million. So the accounts payable is, by this, it comes here on June 25th, and we write the check on July 4th. It was paid in July, but we had to code it back to June,
Right.
because that's when it was received.
Yep.
So it's just an accounting thing.
Yeah.
So we always spent the same amount of money, it's just,
It's
was it
depending
recorded
what
back
day
to June, or was
yeah.
it
Yeah.
recorded in July? So there
Okay.
was nothing wrong with, money going out in prior years. I just don't think those expenses were brought back
Gotcha.
accurately.
Okay.
So now that you figured out the issue,
Yes.
when we go through next year's budget,
Oh, we're going
it
to
should be much closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, the 10% tax increase, we're
We're really,
Oh my gosh.
really doing great.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Yeah, my head exploded.
But that shows that, you and we've been working on this for a number of years, that we've been incrementally reducing
Yeah.
those overages and underages.
Yeah.
And now, another tidbit of information to where we're now going to narrow that and fine tune it even more.
Yeah, that's great.
with rationale for some of it. That's what we're continuing to work on.
Yeah.
Find, like, even that list that we didn't have any updates for, the first one, and if there's more coming forward, we'll know that those dollars were in the budget, but we're decided not to spend. And going back to those budgets in April to say, okay, what wasn't spent? Let's identify that now, so we're not sitting here in August like,
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I think that's great.
Yeah, and just for the record, I mean, not everybody here may agree with me, but I think that number should, at the end of every year, expenditures should be -1%, and revenue should be +1%.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing a budget, you don't know exactly what's going to be spent. So in my role, I want to be conservative in that. Now, that does mean that sometimes you're going to end up with surpluses every year. If ideally you you underspend and you bring in more than
Yeah, but when that, it's from the district perspective, that helps us keep things going in capital.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Can I ask Drew, when a purchase order comes in, or purchase request comes in, I assume it's checked against the budget, was it in the budget to purchase that particular item? And if it isn't, who then has the authority to say yes or no, and what dollar amount?
So we do have a board policy on that, that if it's not budgeted for, that it has to be, I forget the exact wording of the policy, but like they can't put a PO in unless it is budgeted. Now, when you really drill down, there could be a building that looks like they overspent their one line item, but they have other money in this line item. So I take sort of the whole picture, look at their budget. They're the ones that need to look at all those different line items, and we can tweak those lines and do budgetary transfers, but that bottom line, they cannot spend above that bottom line. If there's some reason, if the roof caved in, okay, that's gonna be over and above, but we all know that, and we just know that we have to we have to fund that.
There's also a slow mantra that just because it's budgeted doesn't mean it's approved.
Yeah.
You still got to go through that process. So we're budgeting in the early part of the school year, and now we're in the year, and so I got to spend it because, well, like, I mean, right now, is there some more caution with the no state budgets on some things that we're not ready right now, or finding another way, or, you know, those type of things. So the mantra is there, just because it's budgeted doesn't mean it's approved. So
Yeah.
just because it made it through budget doesn't mean that everything that's there is
That has
just
to
go
be
ahead and
spent.
spend. There are some things that get spent right away, but there are other things that are like, you know, I mean, not talking out of turn here, we're doing some interviews and things, and we're kind of like, do we need to hold off on replacing that right now? I mean, if it's different, if it's in classroom versus something else, but those conversations are happening.
Yeah.
Even delaying a little bit, you know, a month or a week or whatever it is trying to be cost effective for some of those things.
And we appreciate that.
I mean, that's the job, that's not, you know, so.
Yeah. That, a good job?
That answered that one, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. We're getting it. Okay, back down, unless anyone else has any questions right now, we'll move on to the informational stuff.
Yeah, so the auditors were here in this room. They were out for, was it 4 days, Megan? 4 days. So that's their on-site field work. I know that they still needed a couple things, they still need to get back to us on a couple things, so they can tie up the rest of that stuff remotely. But yeah, they were out here for 4 days, and it was like five of them?
No,
it was
So
like
they come out in
morning
full
after.
force,
yeah,
which is good, so,
it's kind of better to get it all over with in 4 days than
yeah.
have one person for a
Yeah,
whole
I'm not sure how
month.
to react when I walk through, I'm like, hey, how's everybody doing?
Oh,
You know, they're so focused in on what they're doing,
mhm,
you know?
Yep, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, they can come in here like gangbusters and tie us up for a week,
Mhm.
or they can come in here, one or two of them, and tie us up randomly for 3 weeks.
Right,
So I'm okay with them just
you got the quick
getting them
version.
in and getting them out.
You got the fast version.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, business office and human resources, continue exploring.
Yeah, so we, even today, had another demo on an option for our software for probably more so the 27, 28 year.
Okay.
But we may have to do some transition, something during next fiscal year. So if there were costs, we wanted to sort of get out ahead of it and get cracking here before we have to budget next year, just in case there are some implementation costs of something.
Okay, makes sense.
This is separate from the Power School
Yeah.
move.
Right.
So you'll get an update this weekend on where we are, Power School for the student information system, that's moving forward. Meetings like crazy, you get training set up, so you'll see that update coming down the pike here on
Yeah,
that
'cause
side.
that'll be rolled out in September next year, right?
Oh, yeah, no, it'll be July
That's what
1,
I'm
it'll be
saying,
there, right?
yeah.
So
Oh,
right
yeah,
now,
July
Our
1.
focus.
school does not provide this end of it.
I-
They do. They do have an option. We've talked about multiple options, and some of them were immediately dismissed.
Oh.
So Power School is one that was immediately dismissed. We did not hear good things about, at least, it's called e-finance, that side of it, and customer service.
Functionality.
Yeah, functionality,
It
yeah.
kind of stinks because it would be nice to have it all in one house.
Yeah, I mean, they don't necessarily talk to each other a whole lot. I think there might be some on the back end, but that can be worked out.
Okay.
There's another one that was implementation, I think it was $130,000 just to implement, and then $150,000 every year. So we're not tone deaf. We said, nope, that's all I need to know, we're not looking at that one.
What do you pay for Skyward?
31 to 32,000.
Yeah.
So that was immediately cut. So we are down to two. It's going to be the newer version of Skyward. It's called Cumulative. And the other one we're looking at is CSIU, which is it's Central Susquehanna IU that developed the software that's just for PA schools.
Okay. All right. All right.
So maybe November. I don't know if we'll have a recommendation yet by November, but
Okay.
that was my initial goal.
Okay. All right. We move on to budget presentations for 26, 27, but we kind of looked at
They
those.
shared
Yeah.
that at the time.
Yeah, we already looked at those. All right. I know we have a couple public comments, so.
Whenever you're ready.
It's your time.
You're in.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
You're in.
Let's see,
Fourth,
we have 15 minutes.
Gotcha.
No, we only get 3 minutes. for
Yes.
public comment.
It's 3 minutes for each item I have. I have about
Don't scare.
4 items.
It's okay. You
Person,
talk
we've
about
got
it.
5
You
people
say
here,
it.
so.
Okay. Okay, first item. In talking with transportation, I understand that we're busing students 10 miles beyond the perimeter of our school district. And that the transportation companies are in Harrisburg trying to lobby to have that reduced to 5 miles beyond our perimeter. If that be the case, there would be 4 buses not needed and 4 drivers that could be used to relieve the other pressure that they're looking for drivers. From my thought is, if we bus beyond our perimeter, whoever we bus to should be picking up the tab from our perimeter to their location, my thought. Okay, next thing, so are we as a school district participating with our transportation bus company in Harrisburg? Are we doing anything with them to help them on this?
Oh, I don't
Because
know.
it'll save us money.
That's a good question.
It'll save us 4 buses and 4
I don't know if
drivers.
anyone's advocating on the, I'm sure the transportation company, that's not their issue. It's their issue in terms of the number of drivers and such, but.
Well, if the district could help in any way, I mean, if we could reduce it to 5 miles beyond our perimeter, it would help. All right, next thing is the charter school costs. I know this has been talked so many times, and I know in Harrisburg they're trying to reduce it to, was it 8,000 per charter school
Yeah.
student?
We've thrown a couple numbers out.
Yes, and are we as a school district lobbying with other school districts for this in Harrisburg?
We've all been doing that.
Okay.
and the professional associations are as well,
Yeah.
TSBA, PASBO,
Okay.
they're definitely pushing.
And I'll just throw my comment out is, when I went to school, my parents sent me to a parochial school. They paid for the school, not the school district. And that's just my thought on that. Next one is, this is a good one, the 4-5 building. I had asked, I think it was back in April or May, what is the total cost for the 4-5 building? Fixed, variable cost, remove the teachers out of it, but everybody else that's included with 4-5, what is our cost for that building?
you mean per year to run it, to keep
Yeah,
it open?
yeah, yeah.
We
I mean,
do
we
have
have-
that, actually.
We have employees there
Mhm.
that would not be there if the building wasn't there, but we're paying for them now, so that cost, the fixed cost, the variable costs, any contracts that we have with, or subcontracts that we have to do things is, again, a fixed cost for that school period. So what is the cost for 4-5?
I don't have that on the top.
We've
of
been
my
talking
head.
about it
I've
in
asked
facilities
for
as
that
well.
in April or May, and here we are, we don't have it. What is the cost? And I understand that there's a study now going on to see if we really need 4-5. And I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, internal summary, that's internal study, correct?
As of right now, yeah.
As of right now, is there any taxpayers on that committee at all?
Well, it's just finance and facilities and our admin, because that's who has the numbers of where the kids are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we have an outside consulting
Not
firm?
yet.
Not yet, but we really need to know what the true cost of that building is, okay? True
Yeah.
cost of everything for that building.
Yep, it's not a simple, it's not
I
a simple
understand
answer.
that, I understand
so,
that,
okay.
but here we are again in October, and what do we have? Do we have any numbers? No, okay,
Yeah, we do.
okay,
We do.
okay. And the last thing I think was mentioned, this building. I think we paid $950,000 for this building way back when. This is our third admin building. We had a
Yeah.
building at this high school, the barn house there. We have the admin building next to the middle school, and now we have this. And we have the back end of this building empty, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
You're mistaken.
Pardon?
You are mistaken.
It's not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not
empty.
Okay. Are we getting money for that? Or
It's not
I'm
being
sorry,
rented, no, it's technology, it's storage for the district, as well as our cheerleaders utilize it for practice.
Okay. Are we, okay, I'll end it at that now. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Okay.
Do we have any other public?
Could we get a commitment as when we're gonna get an answer on what the 4-5 building costs?
Well, it's not a simple answer, number one. And number two, the more important question is where do you put fourth and fifth graders?
Where were
That's-
they before we moved them
They
there?
don't fit anymore. We have
Well-
full-day kindergarten now, that's just the
Okay.
start of it.
You're also
So-
making assumptions that the staff that are not teachers are not needed. If you add another 250 kids to each, to various
Well, you
locations.
might have to move them around, and that's,
Well, no, but you're saying eliminate them as far as overall cost. That's again, a very
Okay.
intricate conversation.
Yeah,
All right.
it's not.
As well as the
If
conversations that
they
I'm
have-
currently having with principals at the middle school, at Hereford, at Marlboro, about what that would look like, the roll up, the roll down, the implications on classrooms. Special area teachers are going to be needed, not additional, but ones that are there, so.
Yep,
The
understand.
costs themselves would be the building, I guess the security was included in that number.
Mhm.
The yearly cost was in the 400,000, I think of the number that Mike gave us on a ballpark for.
386.
Around 400.
Yeah.
something
So
like that.
386, just a spitball for cost to keep that open annually, the facility.
Like-
Yeah, with
Heating and air
heating and air
conditioning.
conditioning, and
Yeah.
then they took security off there,
Yeah.
which was about 70,000, if I remember the number offhand, in terms of that. So, yeah, we're
And
working our
then
way
factor
through
in
that.
like, what would we do? Would we sell it or what would we get for it if?
There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's.
yeah, I understand that.
We have a study from 2023 or 2022 that they did on facilities, which we're looking at, that has current capacities of the buildings at their current structure, meaning Hereford minus fourth and fifth grade is in the 80s in terms of capacity. So adding a grade level back there, what that would look like. And then, yes, there are definitely some situations in the classrooms at the other buildings where a teacher that sees 3 kids doesn't need a full classroom, but it's there. But we're also going to have conversations about putting some classrooms and/or some people in closets, going back to where it was. I wasn't here when the decision was made to go to 4-5,
I'm still
but there
not
was
sure
a
about
reason.
those closets either.
But the reasons that are there, if anything, there's room, obviously, the capacity at 4-5 is close to 60, because there's 2 wings that are there for that area. So it's not simple, streamlined, because these guys have seen the information in terms of some of those studies of what, if you were going to maximize space and/or add on and build, I mean, they are into at least 25 million at the minimum to do any one of those things.
32
That were there to
million
move anything forward,
renovating.
so.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
These are great questions to bring up, and yes, we're moving.
Well, if we all remember, we built the middle school because the 4-5 building was not fit for
Yeah, I
needs. Okay? And here we are, we have 4-5 in there now. Do we remember that?
Yes, we remember
So
that
as
very well.
taxpayers, and I'm speaking for the taxpayers in the district, we trusted the school district to do certain things, okay? And you didn't do it. We still have the 4-5 building. You could, in looking at everything, possibly, yeah, you might have to add a classroom or 2 here or there. I don't know.
It's not 2, I mean, a grade level of students is 12 classrooms, just for homerooms.
What happened to kindergarten for back in the back here?
I don't, wasn't here, I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
there was only one
Remember
drawing. for
that was on,
I know.
okay, where do we put the kindergarten? Well, we have the whole back side of this building.
Well,
Which
if
would
you
have-
did
that
that,
would have
it's
to be
full-day
renovated.
kindergarten, then you'd have to have a full cafeteria and a gym.
Yeah, I
And then
agree.
you're talking millions of
But there's a-
dollars again.
Well, but there's a cost.
It's not gonna be an easy decision.
I understand that.
If
There's
it's
a cost for
decision.
doing everything and a cost reduction for getting rid of things. okay?
Yep.
And you need to compare the two
Yep.
because the taxpayers,
That's what
you're
we're-
talking 10% here with another 4.2%.
No, do not take that for granted.
Okay, we'll
Ever.
talk 4.2%. For the taxpayers in the school district that are on fixed income,
I know. That's a
Social
lot.
Security is not going up 4.2%
I
next
know
year.
that.
Okay? You got to keep that in mind because the taxpayers are really going to be really upset. And again, okay, you look at it and say, well, okay, the taxpayers are going to be upset, we're still going to do it.
No.
You know, maybe at
That's not
some
what we
point
did.
there should be votes on budgets, taxpayer votes on budgets.
That's why there's Act 1.
Yeah.
That's why there's Act 1,
Yeah.
and that's why very
So-
few districts are even going
Yeah.
referendum, because
Yeah.
they're not passing.
yeah.
No, because it wouldn't.
Well, it falls back to, it'd be nice if the state got up and got their work done on a timely manner, so we're not 106
Yeah.
days past,
Right,
a budget
right.
decision, whereas we're held to the fire for it.
Sure.
It would also help if the state would fully fund some other issues for us. You know, I agree with you, taxpayers in the district should not be paying the full burden of the budget here. You know, it's already been proven that the PA tax, homestead tax, or home taxes, property taxes are unconstitutional. The state still has to work on fixing that.
Yep.
So we hear your
Yeah.
recommendations and your concerns, but we're still limited, our hands are still tied.
And for the
Because we
past-
still have to follow everything that is put forth
And for the
for us.
past, how many years has there been the proposal to do away with the school tax on property and have the state fund it through other means? That's
Yeah.
not been accomplished, and probably
Well,
never
no.
will be.
It's gotten a lot closer in the past few years. You have to look at it that
We'll
way,
see.
you know.
I'll be.
Whether
waiting
we'll
for
live to
that.
see it, I don't know,
This is true.
but,
This is
um,
true.
but we're appreciative of your comments and your input.
Of course.
But we are still bound to run this under the laws.
Understand.
We get it. We do get it.
Part of the problem here is decisions made by past boards that were never followed through. I think in the past 8 years, the boards have been following through on what they've said and done and promised.
Yeah.
You know, going back to the kindergarten that was proposed for this building, I'm gonna run out of time.
It's okay. Okay.
No, I'm not. You know, a previous board 20 years ago made that decision to purchase some property. You know, and they had their plans, but nobody could find plans after that.
Yep.
The middle school that was built, you know, that was a big controversy. The election that year, people asked if we put it on hold so you could have the election decide what it was going to be, but it was pushed through. That was also, that whole project was determined with meetings that lasted a cumulative total of less than 6 hours. They had like 1 or 2 meetings to review all the data. If you look at what we've been doing for the past 6, 8 years with the board since then, you know, we're analyzing everything. We're beating the horse to death. So that's about all I can say at this point.
Well said.
Yep.
Well said. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
All right. I have a few questions. So with the teacher's contract being good, how was your estimate with that, in terms of the budget? Was it pretty spot on, or was it more or less
Gosh.
from what your guesstimate was for?
Well, that would be. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so for this year, it was pretty close.
Pretty close?
Yeah, it was, we'll be all right, but it was,
A little higher guess or a little lower?
I'd say we were, the budget was a little bit higher.
Okay. And I don't completely say I understand all the step stuff, I want to ask you after. But, all said and done, what are you guessing our deficit's going to be at the end of the year? Ballpark. I'm not-
At the end of this year?
Yeah, like after in
Don't give
June
a
or July,
number. Don't give a
April.
number. We need to try-
So I
We
have
give you
tracked,
numbers and it's been blowing up in our face, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna recommend that you don't give a number because we're in October and we have to spend until June. We did it last year in April, we go into June, and it got thrown in our face by giving an inaccurate number in a meeting like this. So
Okay,
I'm
well-
just, my 2
Yeah,
cents
and
is,
also-
I don't know how you can even do that.
not now, it's way
Put
too
something
early,
out there on
because
film.
the spending early on in the year is more, it fluctuates more so. You have to get through, I looked at this one year, years ago.
Not this school year, but for the budget that you're working on now.
We didn't start it yet.
Oh, yeah, it didn't even, so
I mean, are
instructions,
you, long-term, are you thinking the deficit's going to be more than what you can tax increase, is basically my question.
I still think it's too early really to say that. I just sent the instructions out to the administrators this week, so to get them to start inputting information in their requests for 26,
I thought you were
27.
asking what's gonna be.
No.
Okay, so I apologize. I just didn't- I don't want a number floating that was gonna be
No,
used.
yeah,
Exactly.
so, okay, so, if you do raise the taxes at 4.2, how much would that bring?
So every percent is about
It's about-
$250,000, if I remember correctly.
I think it was more
Thank
than
you.
that. It was-
It's not much more than that. That's my remembrance. Might be a little more or less, one way or the
It's
other.
about a million.
He's gonna come back and say 352.
280. Anybody else want to?
Anybody else have to guess?
Closest one wins.
while Drew is doing that, I forgot to ask the question. What impact in dollars does a 2% discount have to our school district when people take that 2% discount and pay early? How many
Yeah, I
dollars
like it.
do we lose?
I don't know that we lose it.
Well, we don't get it.
I know we don't get it, but I'm sure that probably balances out with the people who pay the penalty.
It does, yeah. So when you look at it, I have to come up with a collection rate. So normally it's right around 95, 96%, but that's, so if everybody paid a discount, it would be at 98. If everybody paid a penalty, it would be at 110. So all that sort of mushes together to get to about 95, 96%. But I can't give you, if everybody paid at this, what we would get. So,
That's a good question, though.
so if I throw a 1% increase in for 26, 27, so millage is increased by 1%, that's an additional 522,733.
Okay.
522?
522, 733. And that changes every year, but, because I think it was 4 and change for this year.
So what's that put our estimate at, 2.25 mil? With the raise?
4.2.
That's a little easier math to do.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
2.2,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
So the max that you could raise is $2.2 million if you did it.
4.2.
Yeah, as of,
4.2.
as of right now, yes.
Okay.
Because those assessments will change, so that number will also change.
Okay. And then, how much do we have in the I can't remember the rate term, but the savings that's not, put for something else?
Well, so that's also going to change because of that audit. The number that I'd be giving you would be the audited 23, 24 number. So once we get the audit done, we'll have a better handle on how much we have.
Okay.
But they need to finish all their work.
Okay.
We don't usually get that till like January.
Yeah, it may come in December, but it depends, yeah.
Do you remember what it was at the end of last year?
Yeah, I was trying to.
I can't remember.
Didn't you put the 2.6 million back into it from?
Too many members in that.
So that was,
Yeah, I know.
2.6 was coming out of that budget.
Yeah.
We only used the 1.5, so 1.1 is going back in. But then we took out 4.6 to balance this year's budget.
I don't remember.
So, I mean, I can look that up again real quick, I'm just drawing a blank on the exact number.
How much of that fund has to come out?
Pretty much.
Too much, yeah. All right, anything else, public? Good. Okay. All right, do we have any committee member comments? Then I'll jump at once.
Thanks
Okay.
for the numbers, Drew.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Jim.
thank you, Drew.
All right, I will call for a,
Real
Oh,
quick,
go ahead.
before we go,
Go ahead.
I don't know if I think Director McCarrick here pretty much answered the question, but we would have a deadline of February, I had it here and I lost it.
19th or something.
Deadline to adopt is February 18th. That is 90 days prior to the primary election.
that's if we were going to ask for exemption.
That's if we were going to exceed, yeah,
Or to go for referendum.
or to go for a referendum, yeah. So it's all, you just have to have 90 days to get that question ready, get it to the county so that they can put it on the ballot for the voters.
Okay.
And actually, we have to do that at the first meeting of the month, probably
Right.
the 12th.
Yeah, so it's not even really, yeah, we have to line it up with our meeting agendas,
Yeah.
dates. But again, we're not going there,
Details,
so
we're not going to use them.
that's
Yeah,
right.
not going there. All right, anybody have anything else?
As I said, we beat things to death.
Yes, we do.
Motion to adjourn.
Good job, thank you.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, everyone. And
Thank
public,
you.
John Q. Public, thank you, John Q. Public.
You got requirements right.
That was it.
Q's not it?
Nope.
You're making this.
My, I want to.
Yeah, I
Just because it's ready to go.